Welcome to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm MK.
And I'm Courtney.
And Courtney, how are you?
Well, I got off work 8 hours ago
Good.
and I'm here. So I'm a little tired. But I do have my coffee now. Um, Otherwise I am well. I'm well. I had a good night at work. All of my theater people that are, left since all the theaters closed came in, and so all of my Hudson
You
theater
make
staff.
it sound like it's like COVID all over again. It's not that all the theaters closed, it's just that there was like a really weirdly high number of Broadway productions that closed at the same time.
All the theaters closed. It is like COVID. It's traumatic. And but everyone closed and I miss them. But my Hudson staff is there because they're getting ready for Doll's House. And so they all came in. There was like, I don't know, like 25 of them that just like wandered in. But they love me. I love them. They walk in and I just like hug them every time. And
Oh yeah.
we're all gonna go out together on a day that's not when I'm working. And I was like half of you have my contact information. Somebody can find me to meet with
Yeah.
me like on a Friday. They're like, yes. So they're great. But one of the girls who works at Hudson, her name's Hannah, and I adore her. She's lovely. She follows the podcast. She's not listening yet, so if you make it here, Hannah, welcome. Thanks. You're the best. But she did follow us, and I learned yesterday she also has a podcast
Oh
called,
yeah.
oh my gosh, I make it sound incredibly horrifying, but it's not. I keep calling it something massacre, and that is not the name of it. Chainsaw Matinee.
Okay.
And they talk about horror films, and she has asked us to guest on their podcast.
Oh, okay.
Fine. And I told her definitely, and I asked her to guest on our podcast. And I was like, currently the shows we're doing right now are Bates Motel and Stargate. And she was like, I haven't seen Bates yet. I was like, great show, you should watch it, etc., etc.
Yeah.
She loves Stargate. So
Oh,
I told
yay.
I was like, in like 30 weeks when we have our next wrap up, you should be our guest for that.
I
So
should. I
she's
should. Although I do still think we need to get Doug on here because we've been saying that
we
since
absolutely
the
should
first one.
get Doug on here. But yes, I won't ruin all of her thoughts before she says them on the podcast because she's got some excellent talking points.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so I chatted them up and we just talked about podcasting and horror, and it was incredible and I loved it. And then my new circle people came in, which is where Noelle's stage managing right now, and they're just lovely. I'm going to see their show today.
Yay.
I don't know anything about it. I never do. But they do a lot of workshops and stuff like I've talked about before. So it's plays that like aren't out. People don't know them, and it's called Touch. So I'm going to
Okay.
see it too today. I'm very excited. How are you?
I'm great. I'm also seeing a show today. It is a little bit less exciting than yours. Not that it's not exciting, it's just a very different vibe. Because I am seeing what is the show? I should know before I
You
go.
should know.
Oh, it's a concert of Mozart masterpieces.
Oh, I love Mozart.
Me too. But the Philharmonic Orchestra is doing like a whole thing of like Mozart, but then the chorus is singing the Coronation Mass.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah,
I love playing Mozart. It's hard, but
it
I
is
love.
hard. Did I ever tell you the story about the time that I was like going to meet a friend and I had my car radio all the way up, like bass booming, and my friend was like waiting for me in this parking lot, and I pulled up and my car was like shaking, and he was about to make a comment until he realized that what was rocking my car was La Notte de Figaro.
That's incredible. I You did not tell me that before, but I love it. That's something I don't find.
He was like, "Are you okay?" I was like,
That's
"Yeah, I
ugh,
love Mozart. I don't know."
Mozart's great. I did a Mozart piece for my college audition from
His
uh,
birthday was on Friday.
oh, happy birthday, Mozart's.
Yeah.
That's why they gave me chocolate. I got an Austrian, so I signed up for Universal Yums, I've told you about. And this
Yeah.
Austrian, and they gave me a Mozart chocolate bar. And then I saw that they posted something about
Yeah.
Mozart, and I just like didn't read it because I was not in a place to read things.
Yeah, no, his birthday was Friday, January 27th. It's Mozart's birthday.
Happy birthday, Mozart.
One of the things I do in my classroom is that on like outside the classroom I have four big posters that are like whiteboard posters where I write like for each class what they need supply wise to bring to my classroom before class starts. Because I don't understand how in middle school you still don't know that you need a pencil for class, um, which is a totally different story. But in order to make it a little more exciting and give them like a reason to actually want to look at it and check what supplies they need, I put random like national holidays on there, like all the weird like national holidays, like National Gingerbread House Day or whatever. So in each grade gets a different one, and one of the ones I used on Friday was that it was Mozart's
I love
birthday. So
that.
that's how I knew it so quickly off the top of my head.
It didn't even like surprise me. I like didn't even question the fact that you just knew Mozart's birthday. That very much sounds like you.
Oh, his birthday was last week too, but
Who's?
Edgar Allan Poe.
What day was his birthday?
I think it was
Him and Dolly, they share a birthday.
I think it was Monday. Or was it Monday the 23rd? It was either Monday the 23rd or it's the 19th. I don't know. It's sometime in that like that weekend, last weekend area.
I was dead then. But
Yeah, you were. You
um
were.
that because it's they everybody always shares the 9 to 5 style.
Oh, right. No, I posted on my Instagram story for Poe's birthday, but I did some of the Spark Notes Instagram account posts things. I don't know if you don't follow the Spark Notes Instagram account, or if I've never talked about this on the podcast before, they're the most amazing thing in the entire world. I'm obsessed with them. I'm looking at my story archive. Oh, it was the 19th. Yes, it was the 19th.
Follow
Um,
them.
because I shared the Spark Notes post, but I shared two. I shared one that was it says The Raven, Nevermore, the narrator, and it's a picture of John Mulaney, and it says, "No one knows what you're talking about, you idiot." Um, but then I also shared one from Spark Notes that said, "I don't know who needs to hear this, but murdering an old man and hiding the body beneath the floorboards while the sound of his still beating heart exasperates your descent into madness is not a personality trait."
Wait, which one is it?
It's just at Spark Notes underscore.
Why don't I see these things that you're saying to me?
I shared them on my story.
Oh, did they put it on their story too?
No, they put it in their regular post. Oh no, yeah, they put it in their regular
Yes, here it is.
post.
Here it is. I see.
Yeah. So it was one of those like they put a bunch of ones at the
Yeah.
same time, so you have to look at.
So I've like Googled a lot of random things from Spark Notes, like comedy stuff, not Spark Notes stuff. And
Yeah.
I have never followed them on Instagram. I don't know why. So now I am.
No, I love this. Am I attractive? No. Do I have a great personality? Also no. Do I keep my wife locked away in a secret floor in the third room of my mysterious gothic manor? No, of course not. Why did you hear something?
I had seen that one before. I love it. Ugh. Oh, did you watch the movie yet? The new one? The Pale Blue
No.
Eyes?
No, 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 no. Oh my God. Okay. No, I didn't because the ad, when it first dropped on Netflix, the ad was the first thing that popped up. And Dan and I were watching the commercial and I was like, this looks amazing. But we were about to watch an episode of The Crown and we had already like psyched ourselves up for that because we have to mentally prepare ourselves to watch The Crown because it's literally 55-minute episodes. And no, I lied. It's an hour and 5-minute episodes and they're always like super heavy. So once we like knew we were watching A Crown, that's
That
where we
was what
were. And
right.
I never had a chance to go back. I haven't had time to watch it with him. So
Well, I want you to watch it and tell me how it is, and one day I'll watch it too.
yes, because the things that I know from just the trailer that I saw, one, um, it looked fascinating.
Yeah.
But two, Dudley Dursley's Edgar Allan Poe Baltimore accent made me wet. Like it was just because it was so perfect. It was so exactly correct.
Hmm.
Just like
Yeah, I
because
thought it was
because
TV first.
because I've seen other things that have like tried to do Poe and tried to do like a Southern accent or like made him have like a middle American accent and like the Raven movie with John Cusack,
I didn't watch that one.
fantastic movie, obviously fiction, did not do Poe's speaking, like his mannerisms and his speaking well. This one, within 30 seconds, I was 100% sold that this kid could be Poe. It was so perfect. So, yes, it's on my list of things that I need to watch ASAP.
Great, great.
Um,
I
we
will
just
wait for your recommendation.
Fantastic. We just spiraled a little bit, so I never actually talked about my week, which is fine because my week was
Ooh,
awful and I sprained my hip. You guys
yes.
all know that 3 weeks ago I sprained my tailbone. I also sprained my hip. And what I actually think happened was I dislocated it and then I sprained it trying to put it back into place myself.
Yeah. And while it sounds like it, if you're just listening and not watching, MK is not 95. He is indeed a normal adult age.
30, I am a 30-year-old woman who is fairly healthy and does have a gym membership and dances, and yet somehow I have managed to like have a bum knee, a sprained hip, and a sprained tailbone within the same 4 week period.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's
I
fine. She's fine.
asked, I asked Dan the other day, I was like, did you realize that you were signing up to date an 100-year-old woman? He was like, no, but I'm okay with that. And I was like,
Good for
okay.
him and his caretaker spirit.
I know, it's wonderful. I don't know what I do. I brought him to urgent care with me, and when I had to go in to get the x-ray, which was the only part that like he couldn't come with me, obviously, because it's an x-ray machine, the x-ray tech was talking to me. She was like, is that your husband out there with you? And I was like, I wasn't about to explain all of that because also I don't think technically he was allowed to be in the medical room with me if he wasn't. So I just said yes. And I was like, yeah, she was, he is so supportive that you are so lucky. That's so great. And I was like, so I told him about it and he was like, you just ate that shit up, didn't you? I was like, yes.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
You know what else I eat up?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Spiritual affirmations.
I pulled this yesterday, which is great. We're recording the day after we recorded last time, by the
Yeah,
way.
well, also in the last Stargate episode, I told you guys we were recording 4 episodes at once. We fully ran out of time, so that did not.
Sure had to go to work yesterday. So this is a new day, but still the same weekend.
Correct.
Anyways, this is what I need to tell myself daily,
Yeah.
if not hourly. Um,
Oh, okay.
I refuse to overcommit myself. I'm able to say no when I need to. I protect my time because I deserve it and it's invaluable. Probably hourly.
Say less.
Yep.
Yeah. Thursday, when I had to go to urgent care, I felt guilty about the fact that I had to cancel my uh middle school musical rehearsal and miss the middle school boys basketball game. And then I still went out to the other thing that I had planned for that day because I had literally booked myself for every waking moment of the day.
Me calling out of work because I had pink eye. And I was like, I feel so bad. They need me. I was like, also, I might kill them all. So I should probably just stay home.
My, I'm going to LA next month with my dad, and he told me we were going to be gone Thursday through Monday. So I put in a sub request for Thursday and Friday. We didn't have school the Monday anyway, so it was fine. But I put in a sub request for Thursday and Friday. I get the receipt for the airline ticket, and I'm not leaving till 7:30 at night on Thursday.
You could have worked on Thursday.
Tell me why I literally went back and forth 15 times about whether I was going to change my request. I haven't yet. I do need a new sub though because Doug got a job.
Right. That's unfortunate.
Did
I
I
mean,
did I did I tell you guys that? I
you told
didn't on the podcast. I told you, but yeah, Doug got a full-time teaching job.
me.
Yay.
Yeah.
Um, but so So Doug can't sub for me because he has an actual real big boy job. But so I still need to get a new sub, so I might end up canceling the Thursday request. But then I also was like, I have 19 paid days off. I why do I feel bad about missing work?
Shouldn't. You shouldn't. I wish I had 19 paid days off.
The problem with being a teacher is that even though you have paid time off, you have to do work to take work off.
I mean, theoretically, that shouldn't be the way of my job.
But it is. Well,
It
so
is.
there's this competition that Disney is hosting right now that I found online that is like a competition for like teachers who inspire imagination in their classroom. And like so you submit an essay about like things that you do to inspire imagination in your classroom, and they're going to pick 100 winners and send them to a conference in Disneyland in May. And I looked at the comments on this post, and all of it was like, clearly a teacher did not design this. Who would take teachers out of school in May? That's teacher appreciation week. That's my finals week. Like, they were like, why would a teacher want to write an essay? You should have the kids nominate the teacher. Like, it was like nothing but complaining about why that was the dumbest format. And I was like, so what you're saying is, none of you are writing this essay, and I have higher percentage chance of
Right.
getting it. Great.
Yes,
Great.
yes. Yes, do that. Are you going to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, good. When's it due?
Yes. It's due the 11th of February, so I have 2 weeks to write the essay.
I will follow up with you. I will ensure this happens.
I mean, if I don't get it, I don't get it, but
No,
like,
you have to apply still.
exactly.
Apply.
So yeah, that's. Ugh. But yeah, but I just laughed that everyone was like, I'm gonna have to write sub plans to go to this. Like, I can't.
Yeah, no, my work waits for me to get back. I went like literally when I went home for vacation or for holidays, and then this past week, all my A&R clients, like I just when I was sick on Thursday, I just texted Brian, my assistant, and I was like, can you just I was like, everyone's gonna email me back today because I've emailed them this week. I was like, can you just respond and tell them I'll talk to them on Monday or Tuesday? I was like, that's all I need you to do. I was like, just
Yeah.
let them know that I did receive their information and I will talk to them again in life.
Yes.
So I just had like a ton
Um,
of emails that said, Courtney's out until Monday. Courtney's out until Monday.
yes. Um, so other things that don't stop. Stargate. SG1. It
Thank
never
goodness it
stops.
doesn't stop.
Never stops. But we also have jumped to a new season, so we're in slightly different time frame, which was fun when I went to go do the notes because I was like, oh, that's right. We jumped ahead. Not the same books and movies and everything. But to be fair,
Sorry.
apparently the 90s was a weird time
Yeah.
because we didn't jump ahead to September of
Right.
1999, which is when TV seasons start, right?
Mhm.
Um, I don't understand. I didn't look further into this because I was baffled, and my dad was like, that couldn't be true. And I was like, no, it is. It's true. And he was like, well, maybe because it was not on like regular network TV. Because we're talking about Stargate SG1, season 3, episode 1, brand new season. The episode is titled Into the Fire, and it premiered on June 25th, 1999.
I got that summer release.
So weird.
It's weird, but I'm not as surprised by that. They had weird summer releases because especially
It,
then, like there was no streaming, and so they were like, oh, people are like out of school, kids are out of school, parents are, home with kids, like they're doing stuff. It's not your typical everyone has to
yeah,
go to work and pick what the one thing they're going to do because people are more available.
right. So, but my brain was like, it was on a regular like TV schedule where it was like August to December, take a
So
month
there's our
off.
fall
Like,
premiere.
right. No, apparently that's not how things worked in 1999.
Look,
Um,
just go ahead, blanket statement, assume nothing worked in 1999 the way it has ever worked before.
well, yeah, that's true. And this episode was rated 7.9 stars, so we're not starting super high for the season. Um, I I don't necessarily know that I agree with that it being as low. I will say there were some really great moments, but as a whole episode, I do kind of think it was meh.
I think that's fair, but I think a lot of my rating thought came into the fact that like this was the second half of the last episode we talked about,
Which was not good.
leaps and I mean it was, it was what it was. We've talked about it, but leaps and bounds this episode. I was like, this is what a second half of an episode should be like. If only they
Yeah,
like
for
matched. Like
sure. No, and I would agree with that. I think I will say that this season we're kind of sitting not like I won't do every episode rate, but we're kind of sitting between 7 and 9 for everything.
that's nice.
There's nothing that's really super high. Nothing goes above, I think, 8.7 maybe. And the lowest we get is like 6.9. It's a pretty solidly center-ish like season. There's nothing like
People were like, yep,
shock.
this is
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, exactly. People are just like, yeah, okay, good enough.
That's good. I know we talked about how everyone was like, after season two, nothing else matters anymore, except but so I'm glad it's like still at least
Right. It's not like they were like after season 2 everything drops from 8s to 3s.
right, right. Which, based on people's comments, was kind of what I expected to happen. So
Right. Um the number one movie that week.
I'm so sorry. Sadie is climbing into a box right now.
I can't hear it, so as long as
Oh,
you're
good.
not.
I thought that's why you were laughing.
No, I'm laughing because when I started to do the research for what our number one book, movie, and song, where I started crying laughing because I realized that this is about when I start to remember things in my life. Like you know what I mean? Like, 'cause this is the
Yeah,
summer that I
yeah,
was 7. Like, this
right.
is when you start to have like core memories. The number one movie was Tarzan,
Of course it was. Of course it was.
right? The number one song was "If You Had My Love" by Jennifer Lopez,
Oh, love J Lo.
right?
Love
And then
old J Lo music.
yes, 90s J Lo.
Not
Um, and then I mean to be fair, some of the J Lo Pitbull stuff I love, but that's just because
but that's Pitbull. That's not
right,
J Lo. So
right. Um, and the number one book was Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
yes, it was.
I was I was like, wow, it's a book I've read.
Yes, I have. It's all things I know of. All things I
Yeah,
know of.
yeah. So that's why I was like, oh wow, this must be when I start having memories.
One of the girls who works at the hotel bar a couple blocks over from me, she's Irish, and she just read the Harry Potter books for the first time. And she came in Thursday, and she was like, "Oh my God, did I tell you I finished these books?" And I was like, "No," 'cause she finished them like a week before. And she was like, "I don't know what to do with myself now." She was like,
Right.
"This was so good." I was like, "I know, I know." I was like,
I
"You just gotta." It's
I
one of the Harry
distinctly
Potter games.
remember. I distinctly remember being in high school and the seventh book coming out, and I went to the Barnes and Noble midnight release party, and then I like it was summertime, and I was sitting in my front yard, and I finished the book the day I had gotten it, and then I just sat there because we all knew when the seventh book came out that it was at the end,
Yeah,
and so I just sat there, and I was like, what do I do now?
yeah. I remember I went to 3 or 4 of the book releases with my
I
aunt.
went I went 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I went to 4 of them, yeah.
Yep, I think those are the ones I went to. But my aunt is super into Harry Potter also, and so I would midnight release. I would always go stay with her. We dressed up, and I didn't order anything. Do you hear my bell?
I did not hear your bell.
I would like to formally propose everyone buy this microphone because there's a lot of noise happening in my apartment,
And
and
I'm hearing none of it.
I mean, my dog, literally my like bell for my door just went off, and you didn't hear it.
No. Which I used to, it used to be so loud on your old mic. It used to be so loud that I would be like, what
Right.
is going on?
This mic was $40. I wanted, and I did, it's not the one I wanted to get. I wanted to get the blue, not the Yeti blue one, but the other one, Snowball or
Oh,
something.
okay. Something
That's
like
the one
that,
I
yeah.
wanted to get. But they were out of it because I went
Mm,
to Best Buy, and I got this one because I was like, okay, it looks like the most comfortable, top
nice.
notch, great. Okay, I have no. Sorry, what we were talking about? Harry Potter. We were talking about Harry
Yeah.
Potter.
Yeah.
I
So
got.
you dressed up, you did all the midnight premieres. It was
Did I
lovely,
order
good time.
something? Why is my bell still going on?
Oh, that time I heard it. Um,
Where's my phone?
I don't know. Are they bringing you the coffee that they didn't bring you yesterday?
I would let them in if that's what it was, but I doubt it. Let's see. I don't think I ordered
Sadly.
anything.
While you're
Sorry,
no, it's okay. While you're figuring that out, I'm gonna just tell you about the things that happened on that day.
please do.
Because um apparently I was looking and you know how June is wedding season. Rupert Murdoch got married that day to his third wife. I know nothing about that. Jean-Claude Van Damme also got married that day to his second wife, but I believe she's the one he's still married to. So like,
Oh, good for him.
yeah. Also, that was the day that Robert Trump, aka Donald Trump's father, died.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
we have some really angry songs about him because he was are you kidding me?
Who is this?
No, you're gonna have to cut this out because I'm gonna cause a ruckus. So, Donald Trump's dad
Yeah.
was Woody Guthrie's landlord.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That
So Woody
checks.
Guthrie has like 3 or 4 songs about his landlord, and he was apparently not a great guy.
Well,
That,
A,
yeah,
that isn't surprising. And B, the idea of a struggling artist having a vendetta against their landlord because of the rules of capitalism and artists always having issues. Like, that's the whole plot of Rent.
yeah. Well, I think this was also after he like became a person
Mm,
because it was when his whole family had moved here because he was
okay.
here before his family while he was still
Right.
an artist.
See, I also realized that like as a teenager, I was like, yeah, when I listened to Rent and I was like, art. And as an adult, I'm like, you guys lived in a fucking apartment for a year and didn't pay rent and had the nerve to be mad that somebody wanted you to pay your rent. Like, it is a very different
Very
experience
different
listening
world.
to it as an adult with bills.
Yes,
Um,
correct. I feel
so
that.
that's why I'm like, Woody Guthrie having issues with his landlord being a terrible guy. Sure, Donald Trump's father being a shitty landlord. Sure, like those things can both be true.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was but it was after I think Beacon Hill or Brighton Beach, one of the B's of Brooklyn. And
Okay.
he had already moved there and like they had like a house and like a family. It was like his family had moved up. So like they were fine by that point money wise.
Mm,
I think it was not money related.
okay. Fair enough. Well, then, fair enough.
Yeah, because he lived in Midtown whenever he was struggling. He lived in what is now the Steinway Piano Company, which is right behind the bar I work at. It
Nice.
used to be a hotel, and that's where he wrote This Land Is Your Land.
Awesome. Cool. This episode was directed by Martin Wood and written by Brad Wright.
Solid.
And the guest star that we're going to talk about is I literally had to Google and remember who they played because most of the guest stars in this episode we've already talked about. But Colin Cunningham, who played Major Paul Davis. And the reason he was not super important in this episode, but he is a recurring character, so that's why he was higher than like the Chokra girl, who we didn't actually
Yeah.
talk about yet. But he is known for the show Falling Skies. Is like his biggest thing. He was in a show called Blood Drive. He was in Preacher. Um, I did not see anything on his list that I have actually seen. Some fun facts about him though. He is in fact a professional saxophone player,
Good for him.
and he originally auditioned for the role of Daniel Jackson.
Aw, sweet baby angel. That was not a role for you,
No,
but good
but
for you.
yeah. So now that this is the longest episode we've ever done,
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to like cut this down. Sorry.
it's no, it's fine. I mean, we're gonna have to cut things out, but like, fuck it. We start with like the most aggressive entrance of Colonel Makepeace running through the entirety of the SGC until he finds Hammond, um, to tell them that the Tok'ra have an inside person who informed them that SG-1 has Hathor.
Yeah.
And General Hammond is like, great, get all available teams ready. We're going to go on a rescue mission. And Major Paul Davis is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's like, you can't just send the entire resource. He was like, you're really going to use all of the resources of this entire base? And he was like, I fucking wish we were, but most of the teams are already off world. I'm sending 5 guys. Like, I don't know what you want from me.
Right.
I literally wrote Major somebody is mad about it because at that point I hadn't figured out what his name was.
Okay, I put up make peace, and then I went, wait, make peace is actually helping this time.
Yes, Makepeace is like a good guy. He's just kind of like a brutish dick.
Yeah,
Um,
we've had our differences. It's fine.
yeah. Um, so then we go back to our regular team. This might have been where the credits were. I didn't write a note about that. I don't know. There was also a whole previously on that told us what the first half of the
Very,
episode was.
but I thought it was probably good because it did
Yeah.
a lot.
Right. Well, and also like if I had watched this in February and then in June, I'd be like, oh shit, that's right. Because even when I went to take notes, I opened it and I go, oh yeah, right, this is a part 2. Cool.
And that was a month
And
ago.
right.
Yeah.
And so Hathor's once again asking SG-1 which one of them is going to become the new host for the symbiote, and she's like rubbing this little CGI snake worm thing, which to be fair is still gross looking, but the
Oh,
CGI one so much better than the weird like
I
clay
don't feel the
one.
need to vomit every time I see the gold now.
Yeah. And apparently it chooses Jack. It was like, oh, it's chosen. And as she's like handing like Jack like takes it out of her hand for some reason. Like he's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what he thinks he's gonna do with it, but he takes the gold from her, and then one of the other people there, like one of the other gold, shoots Jack and was like, he was going to hurt the gold, and the little snake just like slithers away, and Hathor was like, okay, cool, but now you hurt it. What the fuck?
Right. Yeah.
And as Jack is like being unconscious and the gold is slithering away, the other teams have started to arrive on the planet to get SG-1. So there's
Yeah.
like a little bit of the like race against time, who's gonna succeed first thing happening there. Um, and then we flash to Teal'c, and he's home, and he goes to his family's home, and everything is fucking destroyed. It is awful.
Yeah.
Um, but Braytok is still there. He's just trapped under a bookshelf,
I was like, Brave
and
Tech is
and
back.
he's
I didn't know how it
dying.
was gonna be,
Oh yeah.
but
Oh
I love.
yeah. Me too. Um, and he tells Teal'c that when Apophis died, he thought that they could finally like celebrate, and he was so happy. But then Chlorel returned to take his inheritance, so like Chlorel is now running Chulak, which is
Cool.
awful. And then back on whatever fucking planet we're on that we never learned a name for, Hathor tells Jack that once he's the host, he's going to kill Sam and Daniel.
Yeah, she's like brutal.
She's like, I'm sick of you guys. Fucking sick of you. Oh, earlier when she was trying to pick the gold and she was rubbing it in their face, she like got like all up in Daniel's face and she's like, "Do you remember the exciting time we had?" And he's like trying hard not to think about
Right.
it.
I tried really hard not to do that.
Mm. Um, so the Goa'uld enters Jack at the exact same time as the SG teams like break the base, and you're like, no, 1 second
Right.
sooner.
Literally wrote like 3 seconds late SG teams.
Yeah, yeah. But then as everyone else goes to like deal with the SG teams, they like leave Jack to have this melding process. But it turns out the chick who's been part of this whole scam team that's like brainwashing them in the first place is actually the Tok'ra operative.
Yeah,
And she um sticks Jack back in the cryo container and is like the cryogenic process will kill the Goa'uld. You just have to fight it until it's dead and don't let it get into your mind at all. And then just like shuts him up.
she's like,
And I'm just
okay,
like, good luck, goodbye. That's all I can do. Which to be fair, more than most.
right.
Um uh Colonel Makepeace frees Sam and Daniel. And while that is happening, Hathor finds the Tok'ra saving Jack and attacks her. Rude.
I know.
I feel like my notes are like really scattered, but this was one of those episodes that was like super actiony, and
Yeah,
I don't write notes about action sequences.
right. Because
I'm
like
like
say like they
so
attacked.
and so shoots so and so
Right.
shoots so and so. Like I have notes about the outcome of the action, and
Mhm.
like if something important happens, like
Yeah.
somebody gets hurt, I will mention that. But um, so then Makepeace is getting ready to go. And he's like telling SG3 to get everything ready, but he loses radio contact with SG3 and they're starting to freak out. And then Sam and Danny are like, "What about Jack?" And he's like,
What?
he's like, "What about Jack? He was taken by the Goa'uld. We have to count him as a casualty."
Yeah. It's like, are you kidding me?
Which emotionally devastating, logically the correct answer. Like if he's already
They were sent there to like rescue them.
yes, they were sent there to rescue them, but at this point, he's already been compromised. Like they watched the Goa'uld enter his system. Like if it as far as they know, there is no cure for that, and that means that he's no longer Jack of SG1.
Well, I would just let you know if you got taken over by a Goa'uld, I would not leave you. I would come and get
Well,
you.
that's fine because you know you can put me in a cryogenic tank and kill the Goa'uld, but like,
I do. I will find a
but
cryogenic tank in the world at a spa and put you in that.
Colonel Makepeace did not know this cryogenic save, so um then we go back to Chulak, where Teal'c is not being very warmly welcomed. People are
Oh,
like kind of
that's
pissed
an
that he's back.
understatement.
Um, and he like knocks these two Jaffa out and like screams in this girl's face, and he is like, "Tell every man in this town to be at my house in the morning and to listen to me." And he's either gonna like rally a Jaffa army or fucking kill everybody.
And fair. Fair. I feel that way too sometimes.
Yeah. So then the SG teams are all heading back to the gate to leave Sans Jack, but there's this weird, intense energy force field that has been placed around the gate and they can't get it. We have a large battle sequence.
Which is the
And
force field we had with Apophis that one time.
yeah, yeah, but it seems to be more intense. Like Sam's like, this is not like anything we've done. There's way more electricity in this force field than anything we've used before. And they figure, of course they figure out that the generator can't be coming from one of those people because it's too big and
Yeah.
too strong. But as this battle is happening, Hathor sends a little video globe message to Trotsky, and says that she wants him to take as many of the SG members alive as possible because she wants to turn them all into hosts and make herself an army that is like already skilled warriors.
Mhm.
Which obviously not pro that choice. But it might be the most intelligent thing a system lord's done so far because all these system lords are just trying to kill all these people. And I'm like, you have like the most able bodied warriors you're ever going to get right here.
Right, right. No, 100% the smartest move to make. Hate
Uh,
it. Hope it doesn't work.
but the energy field is too strong and big. They don't know what to do. But SG3 hasn't checked in, so Hammond like calls them to check in. And because of the like weird energy, there's like the radio message is like magnified.
Yeah.
And so they are able to communicate with him until Trotsky figures out that it's the probe that is like able to send this message and shoots it. So they lose all transmission signal.
Right.
And Hammond is ready to send in more reinforcements so that they have somebody on the inside of the energy field. And Major Davis is like, the president and the Joint Chiefs have expressly forbidden that. You may absolutely not send anyone else to that planet. Rude.
Rude.
Sam and Daniel decide to lead the team back to the city to try and find the power source, and they do it by going through the Tok'ra tunnels, which they were already in the tunnels. That's how they figured out that it was too big to like get under. I don't know how they knew that there were they knew that there were Tok'ra tunnels because Makepeace knew that there was a Tok'ra spy.
Right.
That I was like, how did they even know to get down there? But there is actually an answer for that.
Right. Yes. Correct.
So they go back, they're heading back toward the city. Back on Chulak, Braytok and Teal'c talk to the men and women. They tell them that the Goa'uld are nothing without them. Like they need their bodies for their physical like well-being, and that if they were to, as an entire like society, rebel against them, they would win. And like most people don't listen.
Right.
A small handful of them decide to stay. And as Teal'c is like shaking hands with the small handful of them who decided to stay, he shakes hands with one who is hooded, who then removes his hood, and surprise, it's Hammond.
I knew he was going to go.
And he was like, well, not a lot of people, but it's a start, and we need your help.
Yep. Ugh, good for Hammond.
I know. Sam finds the Tok'ra and she explains what she did and how she helped and frees Jack. But as she is able to free Jack, Hathor attacks her.
Mm-hmm.
SG3 is also being attacked by other people. It's just like lots of fighting. And then in order to save Sam, Jack like bear hugs Hathor and pushes her into the cryo pit, and I was like, damn.
Yep, yep.
And then Sam and Jack have a moment where they're just like, I mean, and to be fair, the moment was manufactured by the fact that Jack was fucking freezing from the cryo pit and she was just warming him up, but they like are like hugging so she can warm him up, and they have like a really like long conversation, and they're just talking about the logistics of what's going on, but like it's a moment because they're like having this whole conversation while holding on to each other for dear life, and I was like, yes. The Tok'ra tells them that the switch to turn off the energy field is in the base. Then we go back to Chulak, where Hammond, Teal'c, and Braytok are like wandering around in the woods looking for something important that was apparently hidden since, like, has been hidden for as long. Like, and Braytok's like, it's been hidden for so long. It was hidden when I was the first prime of Apophis. And Hammond was like, how long ago was that? And he was like 100 years.
Like 8 million years ago.
And Sam and Jack do get the generators turned off and they head back out to the gate, but Trotsky has like all of the SG members like lined up like execution style on the ground in front of the Stargate. And they're trying, like, including Daniel, and they're like trying to decide what to do. And then Jack's like, wait a second,
Oh
they think I'm gold now, right? And she was like, yeah. And he goes, cool. So he just like walks over to this
my God.
fucking
I was like,
bold.
what's happening?
And then he's like, Jaffa, Cree. And then the guy responds to him in like the gold language. And
He's like, I said Cree.
he's like, there's just a look on Daniel's face where he's like, oh my.
Yeah. The same
Because
look on my face at the time.
right, because Jack doesn't know this is happening at all.
Bless him.
And then he's like, oh, blah blah blah, like, by the way, I killed Thor, and they're like, you can't do that. She's a queen, she's a goddess. He's like, well, she's an ex-goddess now because she's real dead. And then as he's like trying to like convince them, the gate activates, and they're like, oh, what the fuck? And then a spaceship just flies through the gate and starts shooting everybody. And then Braytok runs in on foot and he's killing everybody. And there's like this whole big like spaceship battle. And turns out it's Teal'c and Hammond in the spaceship.
They're an insane team.
And then we have one of my favorite moments of Stargate ever where they finally kill the last like guard stand and Hammond just shouts like yeehaw, and the look on Teal'c's it's amazing.
Also, at this time, I was like, I
Yeah,
can't. I
yeah.
lost it. Like, it was so funny.
It was amazing. It was amazing. But then basically they land the ship, Teal'c and Hammond to get out. There's a big group moment between the four members of SG1 and Braytok and Hammond, and then they all head home together, and that is the end of the episode.
Precious.
So yeah, it was a lot of it
A
was
lot-
easy to go through like the plot of the episode because it was like a very battle heavy episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of like
Storyline.
minute detail to go through. Um I this was the first time that as I was watching the episode, I was like, shit, I have to think of a second um MVP because I have no question of who Courtney's picking. Like none at all. Zero. But
Hmm.
who, Courtney? You want to punch in the face?
Major Paul Davis. No question.
That's,
I
I
understand
mean,
bad people, but like, but he was not it for me.
to be fair, last week in Bates, I picked the worst person. I picked the worst person. Um, I would like to punch. Um,
There's so many options.
there's so many options. But I think I'm gonna go with me here. It's a weird direction.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Jack. Not like in a I want to punch him like I'm angry at him way, like the way you want to punch your little brother sometimes when he does stupid shit. Because walking unweaponed out into the middle of the field when he fully knows he can't speak a goddamn word of Goa'uld and just going with it, like the anxiety as of someone who cares about him in that moment, I would need to punch him just to be like, what? They got it worked out, but dude.
Right, right, right. Like it came out okay in the end, but at
But
what?
what are you thinking?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, so it's more like the Molly Weasley in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets when Ron stole the car energy than like an actual anger punch, but like that's
Totally fair. Totally fair.
Um, and I don't even need to ask really, but who's your MVP?
I mean, Hammond.
Obviously.
No question.
No question. When he first undid his hood, I go, fuck, Courtney's gonna pick him just because he traveled off world again.
That was
Um,
the moment. That was the
but
moment.
then when he said yeehaw, I was like, nope, I definitely need another choice.
100%.
Um, I I pick Braytalk
Oh, love Bray Talk.
because I love Braytalk. I love Braytalk. I think I would pick. I think Tony Amendola could just like walk down the street and wave to a small child, and I'd be like, well, he won everything.
Yeah, I mean, totally fair. Master Bray Talk. Hammond from Texas.
Yes. And I
Ever.
love that he touches his head when he does it because,
Yep.
like, he's like, oh, Hammond of Texas, you have no hair. I mean, to be fair, none of the Jaffa have hair, so it's not like it's weird. But,
It's just so funny. Ugh,
um, yeah, they're a mess. I do have some trivia.
love.
Figure out where I put it. It's not an exciting amount of
No.
trivia. There's only a couple things, and one of them is like this is one of the few episodes where Hammond travels off world.
Oh, yes.
Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Um, um, the other one is that we learned that Master Braytek is 135 years old,
Mhm.
which we knew he was more than 100, but like this was the definitive we got a number. And then while searching in the world for the needle threader death glider, Braytok uses a slightly curved like machete to get through the leaves, and that is an exact copy of the ancient Greek kopis sword, which is what horse cavalry used to fight
Hmm,
2,500 years ago.
excellent.
Yeah. So, weird that like Egyptian based cultures are using Greek fighting weapons, but like,
Look, it is what it is.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, so that is the beginning of season three. And like I said, plot wise, it was not the most exciting. It had great moments, it had good stuff. I think we're kind of in a very actiony section of the show.
Dig it. I love
Um, yeah, but we are on season three. We're doing it.
we're doing it.
What is my
I thought it
phone?
was a good start, season 3.
I do too. I think it was a pretty solid start. I think so far in all three seasons we've had a pretty solid start. Like I don't think any season has started weekly. I think some of them have ended weekly. I think middles have been weak for sure.
For sure.
But I don't think any one of them like started weak. But we also know going into this that remember we found out during season one they got approved for all the way up to the end of season four.
Right.
So we also know that probably some of our big
Big questions are not going to
big
be
questions are not going to be answered, which is upsetting to say the least. But like,
just, it feels obnoxious because having a long running TV show, which is one of the things Bates does really well, even though it was like 5 seasons, not like 1,000, but
yeah.
it answers the questions and just creates new ones before it gets to the end. And it's like, great. So we've
Well,
got
the thing is, this does create new questions. It just never answers the old one.
it has to answer the old ones too.
Yeah. So we will see. We will see. Hopefully, at least some of our unanswered questions will be answered. Hopefully, we'll see some more of our alien friends.
But not as Share.
Um, but like Hathor is dead for
Mm-hmm.
real this time, probably.
Probably.
Probably because we don't. actually know what happened, but we do know that the guy will die in the cryogenic liquid, so like
Yeah.
pretty high chance that she didn't make it. We do know that at least as far as everyone knows, because we always have the question of whether um Sokar was going to sarcophagus Apophis,
Hmm.
but at least up to this point and in the general knowledge of the universe,
It hasn't.
it hasn't. So Apophis and Hathor gone.
God.
So Harrower, Chloral, Sokar still roaming the galaxy. I think those are the only system wards we have at this point. Because
We have,
Well,
but right.
Ra is for sure dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, you know, we'll see.
We'll see how it
I
goes.
mean, if you know anything about Egyptian gods, you know there's quite a few more that could be
Right,
out and
right, right.
about.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah. I do kind of like that they have the ability to use the Egyptian gods so that it's not like there's like one and then we kill them and then the Goa'uld, which is clearly like a fascinating villain, is gone.
Yeah.
Because rather than having like to come up with a new alien every season, they just have this one that like we still do not fully understand.
Right.
So,
I agree. I do like that a lot.
yeah. Well, we shall see who is the new big bad, I guess, because with Apophis and Hathor out of it, and we don't have a lot of information about the other three that we have out there, it'll be interesting to see who is like the overall big bad.
I bet it's Clarel. That's my guess.
I think we do need to. I know we should have addressed it a season ago, but that's fine. But I think that at this point, with it having been 3 seasons, we do need to address the Chloral Share situation and be done with it,
Hmm. Hmm.
or else it's just too much.
Yeah, I agree.
Because
Thousand.
I don't think anybody can be invested in it anymore.
I'm not invested anymore.
I think if they do, I know. I think if they do some interesting things when they bring it back and they do like a couple episodes in a row on it, it
Right.
might,
And then end it. Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
yeah.
But
But
definitely
we'll
too.
see. We'll see. All right. Well, now that we've done our longest Stargate episode in the history of ever, we will, you can tell us how you feel about it at any of the social media at Death and Aliens or email us at deathandaliens@gmail.com. You can follow me everywhere at EMKAY_superstar,
And you can follow me at CE Cloud 13.
and we will be back on Thursday for another intense episode of Bates Motel for our Thriller Thursday podcast.
Yay!
Bye.
Yay!